Hey, what's up guys? This is Technical Tim here, and I want to thank everyone so much who's been liking all my videos and subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. And I think I said 60 last video, but if I get 50 likes on any of the videos this week, I'll go live on Saturday before the card and give all my picks away for free. So just 50, just press the like button, that's all it takes, and you get all my picks for free. But we're coming off a couple winning events in a row, and let's keep it going. So stay disciplined, and we'll get another one. So I'm gonna be talking about UFC Rochester. It's the Lee Iacquinta card, and let's get right into it. You guys know I like to dismiss fights early in the week, so I don't have to think about them anymore. And one fight we're gonna dismiss right away is Vicente Luque and Neil Magny. Currently, we have Luque as minus 500. That's an implied probability of 83%. And I do think I wouldn't want to play Luque at those odds. I do think he should. That's just like winning 8 or 9 out of 10 when Magny isn't like a terrible fighter by any means and like can at least grapple a little bit. Seems a little steep, so I don't want to play Luque. But then whenever I look at Magny's odds too, it's like he has to win 2 out of 10, more than 2 out of 10 to consider him value at plus 400. And I think I think they're right. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see value on either guy. I do expect Luque to dominate here, and just stylistically how these guys match up. Magny does not respond well to pressure whenever you push him beyond the black lines, and we really saw that in the Ponzinibbio fight. Magny tends to do better when he can kind of mix in his grappling, but he doesn't have much power either. And Luque, I mean, if we look at his fights, in almost all these fights, he's been knocking a lot of people out lately too. He's a pressure fighter who likes to push you beyond the black lines. And so that right away, the pressure screams that Magny's going to have some issues, I feel, in this fight. And then, sorry, one second. I'm just looking at my notes. But yeah, he's just going to pressure him. And like that just screams to me Magny's going to get lit up. And so I see the pressure right away for Luque to just be able to kind of make Magny uncomfortable. And then Luque will also mix up strikes well. Like he has a good left hook, good he switches stances too. He has good hooks, he's got good straight punches, and he throws a lot of kicks. And if you throw kicks, and he will kind of if he focuses on kicks heavy this fight, like he'll put away Magny, I feel. Like he'll just kind of set him up for a big punch. But Luque will throw kicks. He should probably go and kick heavy here to make it just an easier night for him. But I expect him to throw kicks that will open up his power strikes, and there is a monster power discrepancy here. And I think Luque will probably put Magny away. But then again, I don't want to. I don't feel comfortable playing him at 8 or 9 out of 10 either, because this is MMA, so shit can happen, and DQs, point deductions, all that shit. For me to play you at minus 500, you have to be like John Jones essentially. So this is a pretty clear stay away, guys. Let's not think about it anymore. So as far as money line goes, no play there. So dismiss that one quick, but that's all I really have to. Well, I guess I can talk about the grappling real quick in that. Magny likes to grapple at times, but Luque, I watched him really heavily against the Leon Edwards fight, and Leon eventually got some takedowns like later in the fight. But I mostly liked a lot what I saw from Luque's defensive grappling. Like, I think he should be fine here. And I mean, he's also got some submissions and a good Darce choke. Good chokes from the front headlock positions. I feel like he'll be able to handle the grappling fine and just kind of walk Magny down. And if he's pressuring Magny a lot, it will be harder for Magny to kind of get his to be able to close distance and get takedowns. And I think the power of Luque will scare Magny to even want to clinch up at times. So I feel like Luque will be totally fine with the grappling, and he's just going to walk him down and probably put him away at some point. So that's all I have to say there. But here's a really interesting fight. We got Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer, and this is a fight that I noticed a lot of little things on tape that I don't think a lot of people will notice, but I wish it was just I wish there were things that made me confident in one girl, but I saw a few things that make me unconfident in both. So this is going to be a stay away too. I like to dismiss fights early in the week. And this is one that I feel like I've seen people on both girls. And let's look at the current odds. Let's refresh this, make sure it's right. Okay, yeah. So me and Anderson's minus 150 right now. So I think that's an implied probability around 60%. And Felicia Spencer's plus 130. Before I get into it, I'll talk a little bit about Felicia Spencer because a lot of you may not know who she is. She's coming from Invicta, and she was a featherweight champ there, I believe. She's a grappler, so she likes to. She doesn't have good striking, and she's going to be at a monster striking disadvantage here, like really bad. But she likes to kind of get her. I think she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I don't look too much into belt. If you guys know, I look at tape, and if I don't know anything about someone or if I haven't seen them on tape, I'll rely on their belts a little bit. Like I'll default to that. But she's she's decent on the floor. She doesn't look that dangerous from a submission point of view, and it seems like she really likes a rear naked choke. She likes to get her body triangle going. But she doesn't look all that dangerous. Like, I don't think it's an insta-sub here against Megan if she gets her down. Although I do think she probably can. I mean, she could sub Megan. Megan's a white belt on the floor, let's be honest. But it might not be, like, instantaneous. That's kind of what I'm saying. But, yeah, that's kind of her game. Like, her takedowns aren't that good. But what she likes to do is she likes to push you up against the cage. So she'll push you up against, and then she'll kind of and she'll angle off and usually she uses her right leg and she'll trip the opponent's left leg to kind of take them down. I've seen her do a couple other things. She's got a little bit of takedown variety, but mostly that's her go-to, pushing you up against the fence and then working like a little trip from there. And she likes to be, like, obviously if you push someone up against the fence, you have to be moving forward. And I'm going to be coming back to that when talking about Megan's, like, style. But, yeah, that's pretty much her game. Push you up against the fence. Her striking's kind of a means to an end. It's not very good. And she's going to get lit the fuck up, most likely, if it stays standing and probably finished. But, she does have, like, she's got, like, a decent top game, but she can get, like, a little sloppy and fall off and things like that. And if she's on top and kind of loses a scramble and Megan gets back to her feet, that transition coming back to the feet is going to be very dangerous for Felicia, I feel. But then Megan Anderson's pretty much a pure striker. You guys saw her, this fight, the fucking, people who played Megan, that was funny. I did play Zingano in this fight, and, yeah, I mean, we saw it was a toenail eye injury. It was extremely flukish. I think Zingano would win that fight most of the time. I think eventually she'll get her wrestling going, but nonetheless, Megan's like an athletic, tall girl, powerful girl, and she has like wild strikes, but they're pretty good. Like you could even see against Holly Holm on the feet, Holly didn't look all that comfortable, especially early, and Megan like kind of tagged her early, and then Holly kind of randomly grappled her. She kind of went to grappling because she got a little panicked on the feet, I feel, because Megan likes to pressure you. She likes to push you beyond the black lines, and that's where she does her damage. That's where she can really do well. But her ground game is terrible, and her takedown defense isn't very good. It's just not. I will defend her a little bit, but I've seen it in other fights too. Against Holly, I will defend her. Holly has an extremely underrated clinch game. If you look, she was winning the over-under battle against Cyborg up against the cage, and Ronda Rousey kept trying to take her down, and if you guys don't remember, Holly took her down at one point. Like, so I don't think you can just, like, even though Megan's not that good on the floor and her takedown defense isn't good, you can't think you can't think her getting taken down with, like, underhooks is all that big of a red flag. But, I mean, in other fights I've seen that she doesn't have the best takedown defense. I do think the thing you can kind of knock Megan on is what she looked like once she was on the mat versus Holly. That's kind of where she looked bad. Like, she didn't know how to shrimp. She didn't really know how to do much of anything. And she just kind of laid on her back, and Holly just kind of did whatever she wanted there, would move to mount and everything. So, the way I see this fight, so I kind of just mention their strengths. Felicia, push you up against the cage, not really a striker. Is going to get lit up here on the feet by Megan. And if she gets it down, like, she can probably do really well, maybe finish Megan, although Felicia doesn't look like a great submission artist, like an instantaneous one. I feel like she'd have to kind of get the back and then go from there. I feel like it might take a little time. Like, it might take a few minutes on the floor. Not positive about that, but that's my hunch. But the way, like, the things I kind of saw was, one, this is super binary. So a finish is very likely. In binary fights where someone's really, really got a huge advantage in one area, which Megan has a monster advantage on the feet, and then the other girl has a monster advantage in another area, which is Felicia on the floor. It's a good chance there's going to be a finish here. And that also makes it hard because each girl has such a high win condition. So it's kind of like scary to side with either girl, because would you guys be surprised if Megan starched Felicia? Like, I wouldn't. And would you be surprised if Felicia kind of got a takedown, got a finish, or got like a couple takedowns and won that way, like just by dominating her on the floor? I wouldn't. So I just kind of see it as like a close fight, and obvious, like, just either girl can win. And so yeah, that's kind of like the way I see it. So that's kind of the main reason why I'm staying away, is because it's so binary. But I do want to point out a few other things. It's like, it's also scary because the winning fighter could lose at any second. Like, say if Megan's just kind of like lighting her up on the feet, she could just go for like a flying knee or something, end up on her back, and then just get dominated. Or Felicia could get like a takedown and kind of like dominate top position in the first round and then just get KO'd immediately in the second round. So because either winning fighter can lose at any second, it makes it scary to bet, but it makes it amazing for live betting. So if someone gets fucked up in the first round, like dominated, and someone's a huge underdog, like going into round two, I would just play that person. Like not blind, but just, I mean, be smart, but just take that into account. A dominant round for somebody does not mean the fight is over. And then, so here is like the thing that scares me for Megan, for why she can get taken down. She tends to settle in open space. So if you shoot like a single leg, when you shoot the single leg, so you'll get Megan's leg and you don't take her down yet, but she'll just settle there instead of trying to get out of there, trying to like post on the head and pull out the single and limp leg. She'll just settle. Like, well, watch her fight versus Holly Holm. There's a sequence where she just settles in open space. And why do you not want to settle in open space? It's because if you settle and you're just like allowing someone to hold your leg and just sit there, it gives someone an opportunity to chain a takedown together. So like, if you're immediately defending and going away, it's harder for someone to think through and chain to another takedown. Where Felicia Spencer, if like she goes for a single and Megan just kind of like settles, all of a sudden Felicia can just like switch to a double leg and go to another direction, which can knock her off balance. So whenever you settle, it gives someone an opportunity to think about how to get you off balance and chain another takedown together. So that's what I didn't like from Megan and why she could get taken down here. But then a reason why I think Felicia may not get a takedown, which is why I'm passing, because I think Megan could get taken down, but I could also see it not happening if what I'm about to talk about happens, is one, Felicia's takedowns aren't that good, and she kind of relies on pushing you up against the cage and taking you down there. But Megan, if you watch her, especially against Kat Zingano and Holly, she likes to pressure when she's striking. And when you like to pressure when you're striking and push someone beyond the black lines, it makes it harder for Felicia to rush you up against the cage. Because if Felicia's her own back is against the cage and Megan's standing on the black lines at distance, it's hard for her. There's so much space behind Megan, so it's harder for her to just push her up against the cage. And usually, like, Felicia kind of needs that momentum and just, like, kind of, she needs, like, to be the pressurer to kind of push you up against the cage. So it makes me scared for Felicia. If she gets pushed backwards, and when you get pressured, you tend to panic, especially if you know someone's a better striker. You tend to panic and shoot bad shots. So that's what scares me for Felicia, is if Megan's pressuring, it could A, cause Felicia to force a bad shot and then get killed, or B, she just can't get the cage push. Like, she might be able to if Megan comes in and she like changes direction and uses the cage behind her, but as far as pushing her to the cage across the octagon, it will be a little harder. So like, I saw different intricacies in the fight as far as the takedown attempts go that make me think like Megan can get taken down here, but she might not. And it just like, and Felicia also is kind of an inconsistent takedown artist. Sometimes she'll put together a decent takedown attempt, and then sometimes it's terrible. So it's like, it's hard to predict. So this is stay away city, in my opinion. I tend to lean Megan. I really do. Because the way I see it, it's starting on the feet. And Felicia's, it's going to be a little scary for her. But like, I'm not confident in Megan either. I do think if you want to play Megan, you should just play her KO line. Because I think if the fight goes her way, like, if Megan wins 2 rounds, it would be by her outstriking Felicia. And if she's outstriking Felicia, there's such a big disadvantage that she probably puts Felicia away. So that's my opinion overall on the fight. I hope that makes sense. But in summary, Luque, his pressure and strike variety and power is probably going to be too much for Magny. Don't play either guy, though, because that's still like a very juiced line for Luque. And then for Anderson and Spencer, it's kind of one of those whatever fights. It's so binary, and it just makes it really, really hard to predict. And either girl could win, and I wouldn't be surprised either way. I tend to lean Megan, but the beautiful thing about betting is we get to choose our own battles, and don't choose this one. Just stay away. So thanks, guys. Like the video, and I'll be sending more videos out throughout the week. And message me on Twitter if you have any questions, and please comment below. Thank you.